Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Overflow. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
And technology sucks.
Technology does suck.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes.
Especially
when,
OBS.
OBS crashing.
Yeah. Fucks up your entire audio, so it's only me. And that's not an overflow, that's just an over.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be a little salty, and we're going to talk politics, and then we're going to re-answer the entertainment stuff, and we're probably going to be salty and very quick with the answers, just so you know. So, I guess we'll call this Overflow episode Pillar of Salt. Okay. Politics answer time. Duke of Tumwater from Twitter wants to know, what are our thoughts on the common leftist argument that certain speech must be suppressed in order to allow the maximum flourishing of free speech? Well, it's not free speech, is it?
No, it's not. That's bullshit, and that's fucking antithetical to free speech. You don't get to say that some people have to be censored so that other people will feel more comfortable to speak. If they wanted to speak, they would fucking speak. No one is fucking forcing them to not talk. No one's sewing their goddamn lips shut. You can't say that the existence of bigoted speech is literally stopping people from expressing themselves. No, it doesn't fucking work like that. So fuck off, Antifa, with that fucking logic. No, hell no. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but you know, suppression of speech is suppression of speech. That's you're not opening up the avenue for everyone else. And if you're worried about somebody's big bad opinion on Twitter, there's a mute button. Shut the fuck up. And that's my problem. So, like, real quick, with the statement of online harassment. As long as that mute button or the block function exists, I don't want to fucking hear it.
Well, not even that. You can private your fucking account, too.
Yeah. So this
that way nobody can fucking get to you.
Yeah, it's not like the tools are not there for you to shut out the rest of the world should you feel the need to.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break. Grow a goddamn spine. Alright, Swordsman100 wants to know, I don't remember the exact detail, but thoughts on the caravan filing a lawsuit against Trump for not being let into the country? Are you fucking serious?
They're filing a lawsuit.
I guess so.
Is it them filing a lawsuit, or is it a fucking activist lawyer filing a lawsuit on behalf of people?
I'm genuinely surprised it's not Michael Avenatti.
Yep, seriously. Celebrity lawyer.
So let's think about this for a second. You have a bunch of people who are not legal denizens of the United States threatening to file a lawsuit against the United States for enforcing its own laws.
That's about as bad as CNN filing a lawsuit against the White House for taking Jim Acosta's press pass away, saying it infringes on his First Amendment rights.
Jim Acosta can continue to piss and moan from the sidewalk, or like that one 80s movie, hold the boombox over his head saying, "Please take me back, Donald. I swear I'll be nice this time."
No, it's fucking stupid. It's absolutely fucking stupid.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You do not have a right to be here. Plain and simple. You do not.
You have human rights, and it sucks that your government is not looking after you, or at least protecting them the way that they should. Not our fucking problem. You should be holding your government accountable. Because we did, and then we ended up winning our own nation. And then over the course of a couple hundred years, creating what you see in front of you. Get to fucking work. I don't want to hear it. I fucking hate it. It's a bunch of fucking freeloaders. Alright. Physics Hypernova wants to know, do we think if we run Trump populists and libertarian-leaning Republicans in 2020, we can retake the House? From what I can tell, those types did well in the election. Yes. Republican-wise, those who were more outspoken about their beliefs were more willing to be an outspoken individual for freedom and rights, and weren't afraid of being larger than life. Won and are gaining in popularity. Who's that one representative in Texas who looks like Big Boss?
I don't remember his name, but the Big Boss one.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it
up. Everybody knows him because of the Big Boss look.
Pete Davidson, former Navy SEAL, and no, not Pete Davidson. That's the comedian. Dan Crenshaw.
Mm.
You know, Dan Crenshaw is massively gaining popularity now. Why? Because he embraces what he is. He's a former Navy SEAL. He walks around in a goddamn eye patch. He looks like Big Boss. And on top of that, he has more class than most people out there. And it's resonating with not just the people of Texas, but people across the United States. And it's because he's not afraid to be who he is. And that's the thing about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is, like, I'm not saying that I want all politicians to be like Donald Trump. I don't. I don't want Ted Cruz to be like Donald Trump. I want Ted Cruz to not be afraid to be Ted Cruz. Because when Ted Cruz is himself, people like him quite a bit. Because he's a very principled person who will speak his mind, and he will make you look like a loser in a debate. And he will very nicely call you an idiot. Because if you look at, like, I would think that the times that Ted Cruz was most popular was during the Tea Party years, and then after the election, and he was debating Bernie Sanders and trouncing him on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
People love that Ted Cruz because it plays to his strengths. He's great at debate. He's actually, like, when he was at Harvard, he was considered the best when it came to debate. Apparently, he debated Justin Trudeau and wiped the floor with him after not sleeping all night and subsisting on that evening on a diet of soda and Street Fighter 2. Apparently, he's a big video game guy. So
that sounds that basically sounds like this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like something rife for this podcast.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. When you're not afraid to be who you are, people resonate. Why do you think people are starting to like Lindsey Graham more? Is Lindsey Graham stopped giving a fuck, and he ran against, or helped other people run against his colleagues, which is what he should have been doing. And he's still honest about the fact that he doesn't like some of the things that Trump does, but people respect it because he's being himself and he's being honest.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come across like he's trying to play politics. He's being straight with you.
Yep.
And that's what people resonate with when it comes to Republicans. You have to keep in mind, the Republican Party went from being Rockefeller Republicans about 20, 30 years ago to being the blue-collar party. We took that role for the Democrats because they threw it away. Mm-hmm. And we're like, fuck it. We'll go down home. We'll go to the country, and we'll take that area. And little by little, the South turned red. So it's weird that Dixie is now the part of the country that has embraced the party of Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting way that politics works sometimes. Sometimes
it's not the solid South anymore.
Yeah. The South, which tried to secede, has now become the most American part of America. I like it, personally. Good politics that are matched with good manners. And you don't cross them.
Damn straight.
You don't cross them. So, regardless, though, I think that if we do that, we're freedom focused on smaller government, focused on low taxes and opportunity for people, that's going to resonate with a lot of people. The big problem we have right now, demographic-wise, or rather location-wise, is the suburbs. We lost ground in suburban areas.
Mm-hmm.
So that we need to figure out. I am of the opinion that in those areas, we don't necessarily want to run the people that are the biggest and most dynamic individuals. That's the type of person I would look for, somebody who's along the lines of a Nikki Haley. a smart, clever woman with a family who understands what it's like to raise kids. Because that is the part of the vote that, we are largely missing as a Republican Party. We need to find out what those people are looking for when they vote. And then make sure that they're getting what they want. That's how we're going to win that election. I'm of the opinion that Nikki Haley is probably one of the most perfect candidates you're going to find in the future for 2024. I think that if she runs, she will probably win the primary. The only person who I think could maybe beat her is Ted Cruz. And even then, if he did beat her, she'd be his VP. And then we would probably have an even better government than we do now. Not saying something. So, okay. That's all I got. Hatman, you got anything left on that one?
Two things. First, the Republicans that ended up losing their seats in the House were more often than not Republicans that had not come out for Trump or were very critical of him. Trying to play it safe basically backfired on him.
Yeah.
For this. And two, I think moving forward, something that the Republican Party really needs to do to get ahead is work on this entire culture, this upbringing that the GOP is evil and is a party of racists and misogynists and bigots and whatnot that has been cultivated among the millennials, because that's going to be your biggest voting block moving forward. And you need to come out ahead of that to be able to win fucking anything. 2020, I think, is the time where you need to go ahead and start fighting that disinformation campaign.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, let's see here. Brian Gilmartin wants to know, if Antifa's terrorist activities continue to go unanswered by the government, do you think that vigilantes will start taking the matter into their own hands? Yes, they already have. That's what Patriot Prayer is. I mean, let's be, I'm not saying anything negative about the people in Patriot Prayer. I'm sure that they're upstanding people that are just sick of what's going on. I don't agree with what they're doing. But I don't think they're violent. I don't think they're bad people. I don't think they're racist or anything that the media tries to smear them at. Same as the Proud Boys. I am not for what they do, because I don't think it's solving anything, but I can understand why they're doing it. And the fact of the matter is that violence begets violence. Antifa started it. Somebody is going to think the only way I can protect myself is if I take up arms or I stand in front of them and say, I'm not going to take this anymore. Now, again, these folks have a warlike mindset. I do not. I do not like to use violence against people. I don't. I have done it, and I didn't like the results. And it never led to anything good. But I've lived that experience. I understand it. I understand life in a way that some people don't. Because not the amount of people in life who go through life and they get into a fight is small. The ones who win it, even smaller. So the amount of people who don't understand fighting and violence is very small when you think about it. Very, very small group of people. So I am, at the end of the day, that's what it's going to be. It's going to just be one thing begets another. And it's just going to spiral down. This is, again, in my opinion, the weakest part of the Trump administration is their inability to take Antifa seriously.
Yeah. I mean, these are people that are trying to organize themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking kidding you when I say that if they get the numbers, they could pose a very real threat. I mean, you look at the gun clubs that they're forming, like Socialist Rifle Organization, John Brown Gun Clubs, Redneck Revolt. I mean, these are people that are arming themselves for insurrection because they honestly believe that the government has become fascist through a combination of brainwashing thanks to the media and their own little bullshit propaganda, courtesy of Karl Marx.
At this point, my question is, who has to die? Who has to die before we take it seriously? I mean, we've taken what we now call the alt-right, white nationalists. We've taken their possibility as terrorists seriously for decades now.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. For Antifa, it was Charlottesville. Heather Heyer has become a martyr for them.
Yeah.
So now it's somebody is going to get killed, and whether or not they are alt-right or a Proud Boy or part of Patriot Prayer or what have you, like somebody is going to get killed by one of these fucking people. And then what are we going to do? Just call them what they are. Call them a terrorist organization. Let's be done with it.
Somebody shouldn't have to die for that to happen, though, and that's what aggravates me.
No. But I guess it's just they're not taking them seriously. You know, the whole... You hear it a lot, you know, they're just LARPers. Like, there comes a point where you have to admit that, no, they're not just LARPing as revolutionaries anymore. They're actually trying to be that. I mean, I'm right next to it. Like, I saw it on the news. The fucking pulling down Confederate statues and shit, wandering around town with rifles and whatnot. That's not the kind of thing that you want to see from peaceful protesters. It's not the kind of thing you do see from peaceful protesters.
It's ridiculous. I'm ready to move on to a different topic.
Let's go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Cooper's Revenge Home wants to know, should the Supreme Court have some sort of term limit or age limit? A lot of people were asking that lately because of Ginsburg. I would not be against it. I am not a fan of this idea that we should be as reliant on the courts as we are.
There is one problem with that, though. You add term limits, you can stuff the courts quicker.
Well, I'm just of the opinion that these days the legislative branch is at its weakest, and it shouldn't be. And I think part of the reason is because of the overemphasis on the courts. I would think that the terms should be longer, but I am not a fan of them. Just not a fan of the court having the influence that it does on our politics today. I think that we should be focusing on creating law, and we're not.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I really don't. So.
Okay. So,
sorry, I don't have a better answer for you.
Yeah. There's not really a good answer to that, to be honest. The Freshest Slice wants to know, the main draw of Democratic voting seems to be the promising of incentives. How can Republicans counteract this without alienating large parts of their constituents? Well, the big thing is that we have to be honest about the fact that we offer a more permanent solution. And a solution that makes life better for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the end of the day, I would not be against putting up posters that compare life in white America to the guy who has a job to the guy that doesn't and lives on food stamps. I would not be against that. But the fact of the matter is that that's something we have to emphasize. We have to emphasize that the point of the government is not to get in the way and to be your daddy. The point of the government is to get out of the way so you can be a better one.
You're not supposed to walk with a crutch forever.
Exactly. But I think beyond that, we do have to keep something in mind, is that in American culture, desire to work is very strong. Because it is generally understood by most people that a job makes you better and makes it easier for you to do things. And if you're let's be honest, if you're worried about the black vote in the ghetto, if that is what your concern is, we need to do away with the laws that create ghettos. We need to get rid of rent control. We need to get rid of all the district, the constant redistricting that they do to keep the ghetto as the ghetto and things along those lines. Like, those sorts of things need to be got rid of. Cities have become, the biggest cities in the nation have become these giant pens almost that are basically of different demographics constantly, and they're put that way by politicians to keep poor people poor. And to keep certain people in a certain place. And it, in my opinion, is the modern segregation. And it's disgusting, because I see more people who are middle-class black folk here in central and southern Illinois than I do in northern Illinois. Like, per population. Like, for every 10 people in Chicago that are black folk, you would probably find more of them in Inglewood than you would down in the southern suburbs where I used to live. I'm originally from around the Chicago Heights area. But down here where I live now, most black folk I meet are middle class. Or are in the process of earning their way there. I think that speaks to it. And I live in a Republican-run part of the state. There's no rent control here. There's low taxes. There's a lower standard of living. And the governments here have done what they can to try to keep prices low. That's the case in a lot of other places too. But at the end of the day, what we have to show is that there is a party out there that is keeping people from reaching their full potential. And we have to focus on that message. Is that the Republican Party's message isn't just about making America great again. It is enabling the citizen to make themselves great for the first time as well. And government can't help do that. You have to be able to do it, and we can get out of the way so you can do so.
It's help you help yourself.
Pretty much. Alright, in Hardboiled Entertainment, we kind of answered this question, but said Trump suggested maybe the Republicans who lost in the House did so because they rejected them. Any validity to that? There is some truth to it, statistically speaking. And there are some states that where he visited people, he did actually help them over the hump to win their election. The only exception, oddly enough, was Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz got worse in the polls in Texas after Trump visited. But that's the polls. So there's a possibility that the polls could have been incorrect. Because it seemed like it was pretty close, and then Ted kind of just pulled away at the end, didn't he? If I remember that night fairly well, I did have a few drinks.
For the most part, that's what happened. It was neck and neck, and a lot of them said, Beto's up by however many points, and then it's just Ted Cruz, and then the lead just kept growing and growing.
Yeah. So, as it stands, I mean, we have to accept something, is that Trump has a very high approval rating among Republicans. So, with that in mind, when Donald Trump comes to town and says, this is the guy that I think would be best for the job, more often than not, that person succeeds. The only exception I can think of thus far has been what's-in-fuck at, in Bama. Who ran for Sessions' seat.
Oh,
Roy Moore.
Yeah.
But that's because he didn't endorse Roy Moore until the very end, and even then it was a half-hearted endorsement. So if anything, you could see it as proof of the other side of the argument. And Roy Moore was shit anyway.
Roy Moore was also a shit candidate too. So.
Yeah, he was almost Hillary Clinton bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for politics. Now we've got to go to entertainment, and we're probably going to blow through these. We're not even going to lie because we're salty.
Yeah.
Okay, Hardboiled Entertainment says, have you seen Alfonso Rachel's vids about the Nephilim being real-life superheroes? I highly recommend giving them a look. We have not. Because I
don't know who it is.
No fucking clue who that is. So, again, this is the general rule with me. If it is a YouTuber, if you're asking if I have seen them, the answer is probably no. I watch some stuff on politics on occasion, video game stuff, and kittens. And puppies. I shit you not. Music too, but it's like I don't really listen to the opinions of many of my peers when it comes to things like that. If I want their opinion, I'll actually go talk to them. You know, and it's nothing against them. Like, I'll watch something, like, if I'm writing and I don't want to listen to music, I'll put on, like, a stream that Ethan did, or, something like that. But it's very rare that I do so. It's just because I've got all this other shit that I'm trying to get done that I can't really take the time to watch this sort of thing. It doesn't really entertain me as much as it does other people, too. So. Okay. Waistcoats. What do we think of Disney's live-action reboots, and what is the reasoning behind them? Play-by-play of Beauty and the Beast seems like they are deriding animation. We are not fans.
Nope. It's some
of these movies were already perfect. It was a total cash grab. Fuck it.
Yep. Cash grab, reboot, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Classic Disney animated features are timeless. There is no sense in trying to reinvigorate them or reintroduce them for a new audience. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Next question. Crystal Wing 2147 wants to know, for my story, The Island, I'm having trouble coming up with a reason why dinosaurs are on the island without ripping off Jurassic Park. Any suggestions? Portal through time and or magic.
King Kong.
That too.
Use the King Kong excuse of they were isolated and they were allowed to thrive here. Yeah. Or the Galapagos Island excuse, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like, use that easiest option.
Only way you can't rip off Jurassic Park or Dino Crisis at this point. And Dino Crisis actually did the portal through time bit. So
yeah, don't do a portal through time. You will fuck up everything. Time travel is too hard. My advice for anyone who wants to write time travel in anything is reconsider.
Yes, reconsider, definitely. Okay, Derek Mozzarella says, thoughts on Fallout 76 and the negative ramifications it might have on the Elder Scrolls 6 and the next Fallout. We do not think there will be any ramifications because there haven't been so far. If anything, it just makes the next game possibility coming out quicker, less of a thing.
Yep, Elder Scrolls Online didn't kill Elder Scrolls. Fallout 76 probably won't kill either.
Nope. And finally, Koopa's Revenge Home says, what are the odds of seeing anything of Metroid Prime 4 related to the Dorito Awards this year? Slim to none because, again, Nintendo only makes Smash, Mario, and Zelda.
I don't think there's going to be a Nintendo announcement there, especially not Metroid. I think they're going to save Metroid for E3 because Hype Train.
The only thing that I would expect at this point actually would be Negan and Smash as well.
Negan and Smash.
That would be fucking hilarious.
I want Negan and Animal Crossing.
The saviors in Animal Crossing would be so fucked up.
You thought Tom Nook was bad. Here's Negan.
Just smashing people with Lucille and gutting them in the fucking street. Little pig, little pig.
We demand half of all your fish. I don't give a fuck if you gotta pull them out of the museum.
Oh my god. Negan makes so many things better just by his inclusion.
Negan's house would just have like nothing but fucking shark tanks all around it.
Oh my god. Alright. So that's all we got for this week on the Overflow. We're still salty as hell. I'm going to go make food. Or order food. Or make food, then order food and eat both.
I'm going to keep driving until I hit a restaurant. Whether literally or figuratively, in which case I will probably get food then.
Yeah. So, that's what we're going to go do. We appreciate you guys stopping by. If you have not already, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this particular channel. We're going to take off. My name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
We will see you guys next week. Davis Volt.
Davis Volt.